human imagination is without limits, and you as an office worker have been witnessing this in the last years, say. A lot of companies have started to sell things like treadmills, like bicycles, like balls, like air cushions, like everything for office workers, based on the argument that office workers are too static. In this video, I'd like to give you my opinion on all these inventions and how they can/should be used, if they should actually be used. Let's start with what we agree on. I mean, is this a problem because office workers are too static? Yes, there is. Yeah, there are different problems there. There's the problem of being too static in the sense of sitting for more than 30 minutes in a row, and we all do that, and this is compressing the lower back as well as training the neck and shoulder area. The other layer of the problem is that we sit too much during the day, meaning we sit too much at work, plus at home, plus in the car, plus. Okay? And there, the impact is more on the cardiovascular health. But you see that sitting time at work is just part of the issue. And actually, these two problems are not only the problems of office workers, but they are typically the problem of truck drivers also, or many, say, public transport drivers. So now let's dive on what we don't agree on. I mean, it's true that sitting for more than 30 minutes in a row is not healthy for your spine because it compresses your lower back. Does it mean, though, that you should be moving all the time for 30 minutes? No, that will not change anything. Being on a seat that creates instability is not changing the fact that your lower back is getting compressed. So, the answer to the lack of movement for 30 minutes in a row or more is not to create instability. And this is typically the problem of Gimbals or of cushions. What basically happens with them is that instead of being on my chair with my weight really transferred onto the chair thanks to a lumbar support and my weight being distributed across the tissues because I'm on my sitting bones, I will have no lumbar support, i.e. no support for my belt, and you see the ball is moving in every direction, i.e. I'm always actually being in twisted postures. Or you'll tell me, no, but this is the thing, I can train my balance. Okay, fine, train it, but don't train it for 8 hours in a row. So again, we come to using the gimbal as an exercising tool and not to replace your office chair. So really on this idea of people sit for too long in a row, the idea is not to make them unstable for the same amount of time. The idea is to have them stand after maximum 30 minutes. But during the 30-minute period, they should do their best to spread their weight across their tissues, which means sit on their sitting bones, and transfer the weight to the chair, because the more you transfer to the chair, the less remains on your tissues. And this is why we use a lumbar support. How do we make people stand more often so that they don't sit for more than 30 minutes in a row? Well, basically, we try to promote activity variation, like I explained in this video. Basically, the idea is to say, well, actually, there are tons of things that you do at work on your chair, which you could very much do standing. Phone calls, Zoom calls, speaking to a colleague, drinking a coffee, and everything. So you see, we will make sure that people don't sit for more than 30 minutes by giving them opportunities to stand. Of course, sit-stand desks are also part of the game, but the thing is, you should see sit-stand desks as one tool in your toolbox to stand. The underlying philosophy being that, if your boss does not have money to buy an electric desk or doesn't want to buy an electric desk for XYZ reason, you should not think that, okay, then you can't do anything for your health. You can still adapt your behavior so as to not work for more than 30 minutes in a row on your chair. Now, other concepts are the concepts of treadmills, bikes and everything. They are not really arguing on the fact that you should always have movement because being static on your chair is not good for your tissues. They are more arguing on your cardiovascular health. They are arguing that basically you need to move more during the day. And they will say, well, to improve your cardiovascular health, we're going to make you do sports whilst you're in the office. And there, my problem is the following, is do you really believe that you need to buy something like this for moving? Are you sure that there's not an alternative? Like having stand-up meetings or walking meetings? I mean, when I was heading a team of occupational health specialists, we were having our face-to-face meetings walking in the street, especially when you want to have a bit of a tense discussion. Going for a walk in the forest is likely to ease the tensions. The coffee I was drinking with my boss was never in the office, it was across the street. So we were having a short walk, and the short walk is of course not enough for the day, but if you multiply the opportunities to move, you don't need a treadmill to actually discover the benefits of walking. The treadmills, bikes and things have other drawbacks. Their big drawback is that they underestimate the side effects on your neck. Basically, most of them are equipped with stands and things so that you can be on your laptop. So, what they will do is make you move, but makes you move whilst you're stuck on your laptop. So, as far as your neck is concerned, you have a prolonged duration of exposure to neck flexion postures, and this is a massive mistake. It's a massive mistake because the problem of office workers is not only that they don't move enough, is that they spend too much time on screen. So if now you give them solutions to move whilst being on their screen, well, you make them completely forget all the time that they spend on their screen and thereby kill their neck. So the idea of these devices should not be to make you move whilst you work. It should be to make you move whilst you don't work, so as to regenerate all your tissues, not only your lower back and things, but also your neck. I.e., their goal should be to teach you that actually your brains can still be functioning and working on thinking whilst you're walking in the forest or etc. I.e., you don't need your mobile screen to keep working. Actually, you probably get fresher ideas, better ideas, and you are more creative if you leave your screens aside. So to cut a long story short, the drawbacks of these type of devices and others are that, one, they kind of create a material dependency, They make you think that you need something expensive for doing something as simple as just walk on the street, number one. And number two, they increase the amount of time that you spend in less ergonomic conditions for your neck, i.e. on mobile screens. A very good friend of mine works for an insurance company, and he is actively promoting treadmills in companies. And he's a very good friend, so we had to find a compromise. And the compromise where we found was to say, okay, maybe it's not a solution that should be long-lasting, but it can be used for an awareness campaign. It can be used for an awareness campaign to make people think differently about movement, and this should better be done on devices or during activities which do not involve screen work. Such as, for example, you put 2-3 treadmills next to each other so that you can have a meeting with 1 or 2 colleagues on your treadmill, but mobile screens are away. And once you've understood the benefits of walking during the meetings, well, after the awareness campaign stops, then you may hope, or at least as a manager you can encourage your people to walk outdoors so as to do the same when they don't have the treadmills. And there we're talking about creating healthy habits that can be reproduced in any setting, i.e. that preserve your freedom and your autonomy. What's the most important is that, you never depend on anyone nor anything to be healthy. You have to use what's freely available, which is your muscles and gravity. Gravity is the only resource on the planet which is freely available in equal quantity and quality everywhere. So to summarize all this, you can use cushions, gimbals and everything for 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the afternoon, so as to, train pelvic stability in unstable conditions. But then the conditions have to be the conditions of exercising, and you can focus on what you do. And these things can be used for awareness campaigns to show to people that it actually feels good to walk or exercise a bit whilst having a chat, be it a work-related chat. And you leave the things for 2-3 weeks in the companies, and then you get rid of them and you throw people outdoors for having their chats.